Hi, this is Stephanie Manley with Copycat.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make TGI Fridays pretzel sticks with beer cheese dipping sauce. They are so good. So we're going to begin by making the pretzel sticks. Now in the description box below the recipe is a link to the written instructions. Please use them for all your measurements. So please go to Copycat.com for the written recipe. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to go ahead and get our yeast going. This water is warm. Now you want to go ahead and take warm water from the tap, but not as so hot that you can't touch it. You just want it kind of warm. So we're going to put 2.5 teaspoons or 1 package of yeast in here. I like to buy my yeast in bulk because it's a whole lot cheaper to buy a big container of this and buy those little packages. And we're going to put a teaspoon of sugar in here. And we're just going to stir this. Now, while you don't really need to proof yeast like this anymore, I just like to do this to make sure that it's fresh. And I know that it's fresh, that it bubbles. So if your yeast doesn't do anything, don't use it. You got to stop. All right, so we're going to put this to the side here. And in here, we're going to put 4.5 cups of flour into our mixer. So whenever you measure flour, you really want to just kind of scoop it up and lay it in here like this, and then level it off. Okay, so we've got all of our flour in here, and now we need to go ahead and add our teaspoon of salt, and we put that into our mixer. If you don't have a mixer, you can do this by hand. It both work really well. So my yeast has been going for a couple of seconds. You can see there are little bubbles up at the top, so I know this yeast is fresh and good to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pour this in here. I'm going to turn on the mixer, and I'm going to let it go ahead and mix until it forms into a ball. And then I'm going to wait for about a minute more because that will be kneading of the bread. So it makes it really, really easy. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the mixer now. So our pretzels, our dough has finished mixing up in the mixer. It's formed into a nice ball. So now we need to let them rise. So I'm going to spray a little oil in my bowl here. And then I'm going to transfer the dough into the bowl, and I'm going to go ahead and put a towel over it. We're going to come back in about 35-40 minutes, and it should have doubled in size, and then we'll go ahead and start to shape our pretzel sticks. So we'll be right back. So our dough has risen, and now we're going to go ahead and take it out of our bowl here. I'm going to flour the board just a little bit, and now it's time to go ahead and kind of roll these out and shape them just a little bit. At this point, we're actually making the sticks for these pretzels. And then once we get these all shaped, we're going to let them rise again because we love when our bread is nice and fluffy. So go ahead and roll these out. Okay, so these are all nicely shaped right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a couple of cuts here. So now I'm going to just kind of portion out my dough so I can roll them into cigar shapes. All right. Then we're going to take our portions of dough like this, and we're just kind of roll them again to where they're kind of cigar shaped. So you want them kind of nice and even because that's going to help make it easier to cook them. All right, so now that these pretzel sticks have risen, I went ahead and made some slits in the top so they'll look pretty and it'll be nice and brown. So So we actually need to go ahead and boil these for a couple minutes. This is what helps give the pretzel its really nice, browned, thick crust. So I have some water over there boiling, and I'm gonna add a little bit of baking soda and some sugar to the boiling water. And then we are going to boil these for about a minute to a minute and a half each. They'll puff up a little bit. Then we're gonna take them out. We're gonna put an egg wash on these, salt them, and then we're gonna bake our pretzels. And so while our pretzels are baking, then we're gonna make our beer cheese sauce, and then we can enjoy our pretzel sticks. All right, so let's go to the stovetop and boil these pretzels up. So we've boiled our pretzels. It took about a minute on each pretzel. We need to do an egg wash on these pretzels because the salt won't stick if we don't. So just mix this up to where it's a nice uniform mixture, and then we're going to brush this on to these pretzel sticks. We're gonna sprinkle them with salt, and then we're gonna bake them until they're golden brown. That'll take about 20-25 minutes. So now it's time to go ahead and make the beer cheese sauce for these pretzels. So you want about 4 to 6 ounces. Wow, that's a volcano. 4 to 6 ounces of beer in a pot. You want to warm it up, and then you're going to add about 8 ounces of cheese, and you're just going to let that melt. Now I'm using American cheese. You can find this in the deli at your grocery store. Just ask them for the American cheese, or you can use like Kraft Deluxe American cheese. And now we're just gonna let this melt together until it forms a nice uniform mixture. So our next shot, we're gonna show you the pretzels as they're baked along with this cheese sauce. All right, so our pretzel sticks have come out of the oven. They are a wonderful golden brown, as you can see. So now you can sit back and enjoy your well-deserved snack of pretzel sticks and beer cheese sauce to go with them. So if you enjoy appetizer recipes, please give me a big thumbs up here on YouTube. Drop me a comment down below of what you'd like to see next, and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next recipe. Thanks for watching.